This is my friend Nene, and at a very young age, Nene was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia. Some of the symptoms that Nene experiences is pain in her joints, shortness of breath, always being fatigued, epileptic fainting, and yellow eyes, also known as jaundice. She experiences pain all over her body and describes the pain as throbbing and excruciating. Sometimes the pain is so bad that she can't even move. When she's having pain, depending upon the severity of the symptoms, she'll sometimes deal with it by just taking pain medicine and applying a heating pad. But sometimes when her pain is unbearable, she is hospitalized and her pain is controlled by doctors. This disease affects Nene's everyday life. She takes prescribed medications every day, and she has to be careful that whatever she does won't make her symptoms worse.
Sickle cell anemia is a genetic condition where a person does not obtain enough healthy red blood cells to carry oxygen throughout the body. The red blood cells are abnormally shaped like a crescent moon, rigid and sticky. In this case, the cells end up stuck in vessels, blocking the blood flow. This occurs when a person inherits two abnormal genes, one gene coming from each parent. This then causes their red blood cells to change in shape. Unlike in a normal RBC, which is flexible and in the shape of a disc, sickle cell anemia RBC are more stiff and curved in the shape of an old farm tool known as a sickle, which is where the disease gets its name. Some of the symptoms include shortness of breath, dizziness, headaches, coldness within the hands and feet, and since the red blood cells are abnormal, they do not live as long and will die more frequently, in which the person does not have enough red blood cells, causing fatigue. A person who has sickle cell anemia is more vulnerable to infections due to the red blood cells damaging internal organs. Lastly, a person who has sickle cell anemia is more prone to periods of pain, known as crisis.
This is the structure of the normal hemoglobin molecule, also known as HbA. HbA is a protein that makes up 95% of the dry mass in a red blood cell and is responsible for the transportation of oxygen around the body. The hemoglobin is made up of an iron-containing heme ring. There is also 2 alpha and 2 non-alpha globin chains, which makes 4 globin chains in all. The molecule is composed of 4 polypeptide chains, which are binded to one of the 4 heme groups. Each heme group is able to combine with 1 oxygen molecule, meaning each molecule of hemoglobin is able to combine with a maximum of 4 oxygen molecules, also referred to as oxyhemoglobin. The proteins A and B subunits are in red and blue, and the iron-containing heme groups are in green. Normal red blood cells are then formed and are full of individual hemoglobin molecules, which contain oxygen. The functions of a normal hemoglobin include carrying oxygen from the lungs to all the tissues within the body. It also carries carbon dioxide to the lung tissues. It is a buffer, which means it resists change in pH. If the pH is to change, the outcome could be bad, but the hemoglobin overall keeps it stable. The hemoglobin also plays a role in the transport of various drugs to their destination site. One of the resulting products from the hemoglobin includes the reason why blood is the color red, and this is because of the red blood cells. And lastly, the normal hemoglobin stops polymerization, which prevents sickling of the hemoglobin molecules. However, when a mutation of just a single amino acid occurs within the HbA hemoglobin, the HbS hemoglobin may form. This is also known as a sickle cell hemoglobin. This happens when the amino acid glutamate is replaced by valine in the 6th position in the beta chain. The molecule goes from being polar to nonpolar, and a hydrophobic interaction occurs within the beta subunits. Unlike HbA molecules, the molecules in a sickle cell hemoglobin interact with one another to crystallize into a fiber. This means the capacity to carry oxygen is significantly reduced. When this happens, the hemoglobin molecules stick together, forming long fibers known as polymers, whereas in a normal hemoglobin, the molecules stay independent. The long fibers then cause red blood cells to become an abnormal sickle shape. Red cells lysis occurs in homozygotes, which leads to the disease sickle cell anemia.